Hi, Maggie. Welcome to the 10x Marketer podcast. Let's start with your introduction and then we'll get into some interesting questions with you.
So, my name is Maggie. I am the growth manager for Perth based performance marketing agency Chicken Dinner. So, Chicken Dinner is an AI first marketing agency, and really what makes us different from what you might find in like a traditional agency structure is that we're combining specialist roles in performance marketing. So that's PPC specialists like me, it's SEO experts, it's meta media buyers with typically junior marketing roles like the marketing delivery officer role. And so part of my role is around developing Chicken Dinner as a business, and then the other part of my role is directly client facing. So I'm on the tools, I'm in Google Ads accounts, and I'm handling the client communication side of things as well. So I've really seen firsthand how our updated marketing model works and exactly how it's driving that result for clients as well.
Understood. And it's very, very interesting name. So I don't want to start with the name as such. You will definitely get a chance to explain why it's chicken dinner. I want to start with your journey, how you started with a traditional marketing setup and now you're working with an AI first marketing agency. How is the transition was like?
Yeah, correct. So I started my marketing journey, like I said, about 7 years ago. So I originally was a marketing delivery officer. So if you're not aware of what a marketing delivery officer is, it's basically a middleman in charge of communicating with all of the other departments that are involved in making ad campaigns run successfully, basically. So if a client, for example, needed a change made to their website, it's my job as the MDO to liaise with the web dev team to get that project completed within a specified time frame. So I did that for a few years. That's typically a junior role that marketing agencies are hiring fresh out of uni. So once you've got your feet a little bit under you, you've learned the ropes, you typically will specialize in another sort of marketing discipline, a more specific discipline. So I was then an SEO specialist for a little bit. And then doing both of those roles really within an agency structure, within a typical agency structure, just highlighted a bunch of inefficiencies that are just rife within the industry. So I thought to myself, I could do this better. And I ended up freelancing for a number of years, 5 or 6 years actually. And then late last year, sort of early this year, Ben Drew, who is the founder of the agency that I'm now working for, Chicken Dinner, he reached out and basically spoke about a lot of the same problems that I had found when I was working for an agency and pitched how he was planning to use AI to solve for a lot of those problems. It was a really interesting proposal. And so here I am now.
Awesome. And I think you are enjoying your AI first marketing journey. Now, how was the transition like, and when did you realize that the old agency model is not working anymore, and you need to switch to something that is using AI but using it the right way?
Yeah, so there are a few pieces to this puzzle. So for me, my personal like aha moment, if you want to call it, that came when I switched from that MDO role to that search engine optimization role and
Mm-hmm.
realized that there's all of this red tape and inefficient processes in these traditional agencies, and that's all billable time that's being charged to
Mm-hmm.
the client. So when multiple departments need to coordinate what should be really simple tasks. So approvals are going through layers of management, the same information is getting communicated through three or four different people. That
Mm-hmm.
time is all billed to the client. And that's creating a really fundamental problem. Firstly, it's making large business pay for all this inefficiency. And secondly, it's basically pricing small business totally out of a professional qualified marketing service. And so what that then does is it makes them desperate. It forces them to either rely on a dodgy marketing agency, unqualified agencies, and negligent agencies who are priced cheaper but delivering a worse quality service. Or they're leaning on the free support of the Google ad reps, basically. And those Google ad reps are incentivized to improve Google's bottom line, not the client's bottom line. So, in all cases, that's going to lead to that small business feeling like they're not listened to, like marketing is a scam, and it just gives just the whole industry a really bad name. So for me, that was my kind of aha moment. For Ben, so the founder, he was working as a growth manager at Google for a number of years. So he's actually working directly with these marketing agencies. And what he's noticed is the same inefficiencies that I've noticed, but those efficient inefficiencies are resulting in basically just a worse end product for the customer. So instead of one specialist who understands the client's business really deeply, you've got information that has to be filtered through multiple people who each only understand one small piece of the puzzle. So that degradation of accountability and context is really going to lead to generic microwaved rinse and repeat marketing strategies that save the agency a lot of time, but give a much worse result for the client. So those two things came together to form Chicken Dinner, this AI first agency that then combines those communicative roles with the specialist roles, meaning that we have a really deep understanding of our clients and their businesses and what they need.
Okay, so I'm sure this definitely had a lot of efficiency improvements in your agency as well. So how does your typical day look like? Do you use a lot of AI tools? How is it different from the traditional days? Is it a lot of workload, or there's a lot focus on strategy and value than the actual task?
Yeah, so there's like, again, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, right? So when we talk about AI, we're not necessarily talking about specific AI tools, but
Mhm.
more we're talking about integrating AI into our everyday workflows. It's just everywhere. We're using it at the start of the day, the middle of the day, just at every touch point. Me and all of the staff within Chicken Dinner are using AI. So a really good example of that, right, is previously I might spend 1 hour, 2 hours on kind of manual data analysis. So downloading metrics, creating spreadsheets, analyzing trends, forming hypotheses, all of that stuff. So a really simple competitive analysis, for example, that's going to involve me going into my Google Ads accounts and then reviewing all of my auction insights manually. So that process there, that might take 1 hour or 2 hours. Now that process looks like downloading those screenshots or taking screenshots of week by week performance inside my auction insights, uploading that to the AI, and that's going to almost instantly not only identify which competitors have increased impression share and by how much, but also what new competitors are entering the market and what dates they've entered the market. So what would have taken me 1 or 2 hours is now taking me 10 minutes. And what's really important there is that I'm not using that saved time to just like take a longer lunch break or sit on my bum or whatever. I'm reinvesting that time into high value activities. So instead of spending time on those manual tasks like that data analysis, bid adjustments, budget management, I'm able to actually develop new campaign strategies and then work directly with these clients on initiatives that are going to move the needle for the business. And that's good for me as the agency, and it's good for the client. It's good for the client because they're obviously getting a much better result. It's good for the agency, and the research will back me up here. It's so much cheaper to retain a client than it is to get a new client. So we're able to reduce our churn rates all the way down, and the client's getting a better result. So it's just really a win-win scenario for everyone.
Got it. And that's a perfect answer. And in a way, you answered my next question partly. I wanted to understand, let's take with any one example that you are comfortable sharing, how you improved your workflow using AI, any AI tool that you're currently using, and how it made your workflow faster and easier. And then maybe take me through the step-by-step process of doing it.
Yeah, of course. So there are so many tools. So Claude Anthropic is my AI model of choice. So we use that throughout our entire agency. I've tested a bunch of the other ones and I go back and retest them. Obviously, a different AI model is going to work for different people. So you pick the one that works best. But if it's good enough for Mike Rhodes, really, it's good enough for me. And the game changer here isn't really tool selection. It's how we've integrated that AI into our systems and into our standard operating procedures. So we've built AI prompts into our workflow so that every team member is reminded at regular sort of intervals to leverage AI, especially for those like really highly repeatable tasks. And like, as you would know, right, the more you're going to use these tools, the better you're going to become at maximizing their potential, really. So other things we do to kind of maximize AI use is we're maintaining dedicated AI threads for each of our clients. So those are continuously updated with onboarding information, communication history, project context, all of that kind of stuff. And really what that does is not only does it ensure consistency over all interactions with that account, but it also creates like a knowledge base that's essentially getting smarter and smarter over time. So the longer we've got these relationships with the clients, the better these threads are getting and the more context we're able to leverage there.
Awesome. So, would you also like to walk me through the list of AI tool that you use on day-to-day basis and how much you like as a company or personally, how much you are investing in the AI tools on monthly basis?
So it's not like kind of like I'm saying, it's not any specific tool. It's
Mm-hmm.
more that AI has been just totally integrated into our workflows and our automation. So we're often not even seeing the AI working. It's just kind of doing what it needs to do in the background. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, when we have a discovery call with a client, we've got
Mm-hmm.
our automation set up to automatically upload that information into our specific sort of AI threads to help us generate proposals, to help us, do all this stuff that kind of happens in the background. Setting up client folders and organizing assets and all of that manual legwork that's taking specialist time away from what makes the specialist. The specialist job is to be working on high level strategies that are moving the needle for the business, not setting up folder hierarchies in Google Drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And was it able to reduce the entire chain of communication? So you started as a marketing delivery person, right? Right
Mm.
now, when you are managing accounts, you're mostly working directly with your clients. There is no middleman. You are handling the entire communication with help with or without the help of AI, right?
Correct.
So that has significantly reduced your dependency on the middleman for delivering the results. And client
hmm
also has the first-hand information. So rather than talking to somebody who like create a chain of Chinese whispers, they directly hear
Mm,
from you, and that's the like real feedback. No sugarcoating anywhere.
mm.
So that's also an improvement, and that really helps you get better in terms of relationships with your clients. So
Yeah,
definitely
and
a
like,
good use of AI in the workflow.
absolutely.
Then next question that I have is, how do you keep the balance between your efficiency that AI brings and the human intervention that you need to empower the campaign strategically?
Yeah, absolutely. So the key here is really understanding that AI is there to really amplify human creativity. It's not there to totally replace it. So we're using AI strategically in really three main areas. So we're using it to streamline highly repeatable tasks. We're using it for idea generation, so initial sort of creative copy, stuff like that. And then we're also using it to take the edge off that data analysis, which is kind of what I was speaking about before. So just reducing those touch points, but still every strategy, every test, and every client interaction that we're really having is still human led. So we're really not replacing human creativity. We're using it to amplify human creativity.
Okay, and is it also helping you improve how many clients or how many accounts you are able to handle at a time, or there's no change in that number?
Not really. So the biggest thing here is so our specialists, they're not really managing more clients than a traditional agency would manage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
our specialists are typically handling sort of between 10 and 15 accounts per specialist, which I would
Mm-hmm.
think would be pretty standard industry practice.
Mm-hmm.
The main difference here is that our specialists are handling more deliverables
Mm-hmm.
than what you would expect in a traditional marketing agency. So they are operating as that marketing delivery officer role that we spoke about, but also as the specialist role.
Yeah, so I understood. Now let's say, let's take any example where you were able to find better ideas, better opportunities, better strategy while you were directly discussing with client as compared to a middleman. And how
Absolutely.
did
So
you integrate the AI tools or strategies in between so that you had something better to execute for them?
yeah, so really what it comes down to, again, it's not It's the micro moments, right? It's not the AI tool directly that is leading to the improved performance or the better result. What the AI is doing is giving the specialist more time. It's just allowing us to be more communicative and to get deeper into the client's account. So it's all of those micro moments in that direct client communication where all of this real value is shining. So it's stuff like, a client might casually mention something that seems like super insignificant to them really, but is so crucial for campaign management. So I'm talking about things like scheduled price increases, like planned website maintenance. To them, it's just a business update, like it's not important to them. But to me, it's like really critical intelligence because your price increase is directly impacting ad performance. And so when I know about that in advance, I'm able to proactively manage your ads. I can adjust bidding strategies, I can update ad copy, modify landing pages, stuff like that. So without that layer of like direct communication, what typically is going to happen is the client is just going to implement the price change or the website's going to go through downtime or whatever it is. The agency is going to notice a drop in conversion rate and then they're going to spend 2, 3 hours diagnosing what has gone wrong. So we're essentially playing detective there when we could have been playing strategist. And so this traditional agency model where they're separating the MDO role out with the specialist role, it means the client has to be educated enough about their advertising strategy to know what information is relevant to share. It also means that the MDO, the marketing delivery officer, has to be specialized enough to flag the right issues. And as we've spoken about, it is an entry level position. So they're hiring straight out of uni. So when these conditions aren't met, which is really often, these critical details are getting lost in communication. And so that is the value of our service model. And we're sort of using AI to make our specialists faster, to improve communication, is really getting the better result.
Understood. And the next question that I have is, let's say you are coming from a background where you started as a marketing delivery person and then you went on to become a freelancer and now you're directly managing clients in chicken dinner. So you had experience of talking to the client. But there are a lot of people who never had that interaction. They were more on the ops side. But suddenly you're saying that now you'll directly manage the client communication. There is no middleman. So what is the learning curve for those kind of resources or those kind of team members do you see around?
Yeah, so it is a really difficult role to hire for, and you see it in marketing, like you're in marketing, so you know, right? You
Mm-hmm.
typically have two disciplines in marketing. You've got sort of analytical marketers, so these people tend to be in SEO roles, Google Ads roles, sort of the performance marketing, where they really enjoy kind of data analysis and like being in spreadsheets and stuff like that, but they're not that they've picked that because they want to be on the tools and not on the comms. And then contrary to that, you've got specialists in more creative industries like social media management, who are more left brain sort of thinkers. So they're very communicative, very bubbly, love client relationships, but aren't very good at. They're not always excited about the data analysis sort of side of things. So hiring for both of those roles is difficult. It does mean we have to compensate our specialists
Mm-hmm.
higher, better work-life balance, better remuneration packages, all of that kind of stuff, so that we're able to find, just the best quality talent that can either do both of those things well and successfully, or who are open to learning whichever is the weaker of their sort of skill set.
Okay, so now one question I'm very curious about is that when you pitch yourself as an AI first marketing agency, so the typical reaction that you might get is that many people think you are using a bunch of AI tool and there is no human intervention mostly. So that's the first thought that comes to client's mind. How do you make sure that the communication is right and they understand the criticality of a human intervention, and you make sure that the client understood the framework in the right manner?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. So we're really fortunate that we're a Gen Z agency, we're a young agency. And so we're really fortunate to work with a lot of young sort of business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs. And they
Mm-hmm.
really just understand that AI is not optional anymore. And so the thing here that I kind of want to point out is whether an agency is actually marketing themselves as AI first or not. integrating AI into sort of marketing agency operations is becoming and will be non-negotiable. So if you're a marketing agency and you're not already leaning really heavily on AI, you're actually just going to be left behind. And so what that means for business owners is that hiring sort of AI capable agencies will be the new normal. It's not just going to be us, it will be all competitive agencies. And so the proof here is really in the economics. So AI is going to enable us to do more work in less time at a fraction of the traditional cost. And so from a business standpoint, you know, there's not an alternative for those people, for agencies that want to be competitive, sort of without that. One thing I will say is that we are totally transparent about how we use AI with our clients. So if we do have a client with those sorts of concerns, we are explaining exactly how we're using the AI, kind of like I've explained to you and why.
Mm-hmm.
We're emphasizing that we're not replacing human creativity. We're not replacing strategic thinking. We're actually doing more of that. Sort of with that being said, I've got to respect that our model can't be for everyone. So that is actually just okay. Some businesses might prefer a provider that aligns with their values in a different way. And obviously they're totally entitled to make that choice.
Understood. So now one question that I have, Maggie, is let's say you talk to a client, you pitch them the AI first marketing agency. Some people might thought that you might end up sharing all my data with AI, including the private account data. How do you manage the privacy concerns? Do you get those kind of concerns from your clients, or that's something just skeptical about?
Well, we actually haven't. We actually haven't had any existing clients with those privacy concerns. When we've had clients with privacy concerns in sort of not to do with AI, just when we're, stuff like writing case studies, stuff like that, we'll redact information that they don't want shared. So we're more than happy if a client sort of comes to us with a privacy concern to train our AI without whatever specific piece of information that they don't
Mm-hmm.
want included. Obviously, a lot of these AI models, you take it with a pinch of salt, right? But you've got a share feature, so you can have the private AI model for like internal company use, and then you can share it so it's kind of public for anyone. So picking and choosing, what information is going public and what information we're just strictly keeping internal, that's helpful too. But mostly, we haven't really run into it as a major issue at this point.
Understood. So there are a lot of agency owner who might be listening to our conversation, and many of them might be running the traditional agency so far. What is your step-by-step guide or process for them to transition from an traditional agency to an AI first agency? So you can talk about people, processes, workflows, whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, so really for me, agencies like us that have started as AI first, we obviously have such an advantage because we've been able to build AI into systems and processes rather than trying to retroactively fit AI into the systems and processes that already exist. One thing I will say is don't try and boil the ocean, just one thing at a time. And so something like 40% of marketers cite a lack of technical expertise as a major barrier to AI implementation. So, trying to transform all of your systems and processes all at one time is just a recipe for overwhelm. So, what I would say is document your systems and processes properly. You should already have a lot of that. And then potentially hire like an automation specialist, someone that can come in, review your existing systems and processes, and see which areas would fit AI well, which areas we can put AI in, and then just do that one at a time and just work your way kind of through the list. Another thing I would say is really important is just to listen really carefully to your staff and your staff feedback. Other sort of barriers to AI implementation are sort of, this lack of technical expertise, implementation costs, data privacy concerns. So really understanding your team's concerns is going to help you address those problems sort of as they come up.
Understood. So that's a fantastic conversation, Maggie, and I think we are coming towards the end. Uh, just one question, and then we'll close the discussion for today. Uh, looking forward, what really excites you most as an AI first agency? What changes do you think are going to come or just slowly transitioning right now?
It's just like it's such an exciting place to be. If you flash back, even sort of 24 months ago, 12 months, 2 years ago, AI wasn't really around yet. So the fact that we've been able to move so quickly and that we've gotten from A to here where we're able to set up an AI first agency is crazy. So really just what excites me the most is that we're just scratching the surface now of what's possible. The pace of AI tool improvement over the last 6 months especially has been extraordinary. I remember, for example, using AI to help generate ideas for my ad copy. And even with really detailed sort of prompting and character limit instructions, the output, the the headlines that I'm generating. So now not only is that accuracy perfect, but the quality and sophistication of these outputs has just improved. And so that just speaks to, where these tools are going and I we've got no idea what this technology can do. And I think that's what makes it so exciting is it's only up from here.
Understood. So thank you so much, Maggie, and thank you so much, everyone, for being with us and having this wonderful discussion, listening to us. Make sure you subscribe to the 10x Marketer podcast before you leave. And thanks once again, Maggie. It was really nice talking to you early morning. Take care.
Perfect. Great to chat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.